Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, I heard all kinds of stuff in that. I mean, there's this little classical break in there. The rhythm is definitely Celtic in a way, you know, it's this, but all kinds of stuff, you know, this mixture, I can't classify, but I can definitely see the classical training there for sure.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, the counterpoint you guys were doing there and playing, it was awesome.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of our most classical sounding songs.
Is it? Yeah, yeah. I was trying to, you know, in my head, put a label on it, and I bet you have a hard time doing that when people ask
we
you.
do.
Huh?
We came up with this kind of funny word that we use. It's neo-Classicana. We tried to sort of stuff as much in there as we could.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's sort of, you know, if people really want to push us, if they say name a genre, then that's what we do, and then they're like, oh, I don't want to say that. Never mind.
Yeah, it's and that all comes from where do they put your CD in the
in the Neo-Classicana section for sure. You can find us there at Borders.
You know, it really you know, it's not bluegrass, it's not classical, it's really not folk. I mean, I would put it probably in folk more than because it kind of combines all those influences, but at the same time, it's too classical for folk, I think. You know.
We'll say Americana also.
Yeah,
Americana has so many different things in it.
Yeah, it's just a blend of stuff. Yeah, yeah. It's not anything. So the songwriting. Where do you? I'm kind of curious about this because you had a classical background and training, you guys, and where do you find, you know, like inspiration for your songwriting? Who are some of your influences, and you know, what
Influence or inspiration for songs?
well, a combination of both, because I think, you know, people influence you early on, I would imagine, unless it, you know, you find your inspiration from classical music.
I think in terms of songwriting, Bob Dylan's a big influence on us. We listened to Bob Dylan a lot when we were kids. We loved Bob Dylan and the Beatles. We kind of grew up with a lot of the music from the 60s. Jordan's dad is actually a big influence on us. He's a fantastic singer-songwriter. He's very much in the Dylan style. And I think in terms of subjects for our songs, most often what we'll do is we'll take several set of circumstances or several different people and kind of compile like the general feelings that we have from all those different things into one particular song. Because usually you'll have similar experiences with different people and you put those together and make that a song about something that sounds like it's about one person.
You know, for me, I think I grew up and I was born in Canada, and so I grew up on a lot of Canadian folk music. And so one of the biggest influences for me is actually Stan Rogers.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hope my dad's listening because he's a sailmaker, and he's like, you know, you have to hear Stan Rogers because he writes those. And I can definitely hear that.
Yeah,
I think that
Jordan introduced the rest of us to Stan Rogers.
I think Stan Rogers is potentially the greatest musician of all time in any genre. I mean,
And we're drinking. It's like we're gonna drink and sail, and I'm trying to think of one song I saw. They were all sitting around the table singing this sailing songs. Yes, yeah, I love that tune.
Yeah.
On our road trip, when we were driving to California for a while, that was how we would start the day. Was we would sing Barrett's Privateers in the car.
All right.
We're actually thinking about covering one of Stan Rogers' more obscure songs and potentially putting it on the next album. So.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I can hear that. I can now I can hear the influence. Like when I was
Good.
trying to, when I was now I can definitely hear it because that's where that Celtic kind of flavor comes from. But it's definitely
probably.
that seafaring drinking kind of thing there. Cool. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, my dad turned me on. He said, "Oh, you have to hear some Stan Rogers," and I don't know. It was like. You know, the Wreck of the Emmett Fitzgerald to me, like that's
actually
kind
very
of
similar.
in a Gordon Lightfoot type of way.
Sure.
But he, even folkier. I mean, even,
Oh, yeah.
you know, you can tell he must have been listening to a lot of old seafaring songs, you know.
Yeah,
that type of
he
stuff.
came from the tradition of them, I mean, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I didn't, like, there's a certain way of playing fiddle. Is it Brayton fiddle?
Cape Breton, yeah.
Yeah, Cape Breton.
Yeah, like Natalie McMaster sort of style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my fiddle player in the band that I had, she told me about that there's a certain style of fiddle playing from that area up in Nova Scotia. So that's the first time. It's amazing. Like, there's so much stuff, so much music, and the internet has just opened it up so much that you can hear anything, any type of music, whether, you know, somebody's playing, was it the oud, you know, like over in Middle Eastern, this Senegalese, African, and it's just this whole bunch of stuff that's out there. It's just, sometimes for me, just overwhelming, you know, because I want to, you know, listen all the time, but
Yeah.
so I need some peace and quiet once in a while.
Yeah. My old violin
Love
teacher
it.
used to say that she couldn't listen to music at the end of a full day of teaching because her ears were full, and I understand that just, you know, you can't stuff anything else in there. You need a little bit of silence to clear it out.
So you guys all do music full time, or do you have?
We do.
You all teach?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. It's great to see young musicians doing that, you know, and doing it full time too, because you know, having the day job and doing it part time, it's like, I don't think you can really devote, you know, your energy to it.
We feel very lucky, because it takes an enormous amount of time to be a musician, so it's very difficult if you have a career outside of music at the same time as being a musician.
I didn't realize how much it takes. You know, I left my corporate job and made a CD and then started doing it, and it's like
Good for you.
all the promotion that's involved in the booking, and you've got so much stuff if you really just want to keep, and you got to build and build and build and build and build on it. You know, everybody starts somewhere, and you just have to build and build and promote and promote and promote, and it's a lot of work, and a lot of people. It's a lot of work for maybe not a lot of rewards, and you really have to love what you do. You know, and
That's
really,
gotta be the rewards, really. Yeah.
But the reward is being able to do what you love, you know. But try to communicate that to somebody who doesn't do that for a living, and they don't. Yeah.
All along the tour, you talk to people in the town, like in a restaurant or something, and they don't have any way to understand what we're doing as musicians, and when we say, oh, we've traveled this far for this night, for this show, they're like, why? You know, and we're like, well, because this is what we do. We play shows.
That's
you know,
the
why
reward.
would we not do this?
That's the reward. The reward is being able to do it. That's it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we have about time for one more tune until we have to sign off. So I want to thank you guys very much for coming in today. I've had a great time listening to you, and Harry has too. He's got the thumbs up over there. So hopefully the next time you come through, we'll have some place like in this area where we can get you a booking so you can play. You know.
That sounds fantastic.
You know, on the way.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Come in, play a show, then head down to Morgantown. I don't know if you've ever checked around there, venues in Morgantown, but there.
Not yet.
Oh well, there's a lot of places down there, and I have some contacts. So let me tell you who to talk to, and
Perfect.
that would be. There's some good places in Morgantown, so you can actually do. A lot of people will play Morgantown, then they'll go play down at the Purple Fiddle, and then either go down to Asheville or work their way that way.
Yeah, we actually haven't made it to Asheville yet, but we really want to. That's a fantastic city. So.
My son lived there for a couple of years. He had a band, and they would busk on the street. And he said we made more money busking on the street than we would in a club.
Yeah, we've had that experience too. Yeah.
So anyway, thank you very much, Jordana, Rachel, Chris, and Rebecca. I've enjoyed having you in the studio. This is Acoustic Songs Live. I'm your host, T. Mitchell Bell, and we have Harry Funk from the Observer Reporter in here today too, and he's filming the band for the Observer Reporter online.
www.observer-reporter.com.
That's it, and Harry will have the video up
Later this afternoon.
sometime. I don't know how he does it. I think it's amazing how quickly